Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another discussion video. First things first, I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing, wonderful moms out there, those who are still with us, of course, and those who are no longer with us as well, but we love and appreciate each and every one of you. This discussion is an interesting one, I think, and it's one that's been speculated for years now. I figured I'd talk about it in this video. So, let's talk about Sly Cooper. Now, some of you may have heard of Sly Cooper. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you might have heard of him and actually played some Sly Cooper games. But for those of you who haven't, Sly Cooper is I guess stealth platformer is was defined as with several sneak element and things like that. The games are super fun. It has other stuff as well, other minigame types, but Sly Cooper is a series that's been around for a little bit, at least in theory, because it's been dormant for a while. So Sly Cooper started out in 2002, who first developed by Sucker Punch Games, who would then go on to make the infamous series. And then after Sucker Punch no longer had the Sly Cooper IP, it was then transferred off to Cinzaro Games, who not only ported all three original Sly Cooper games, so that's Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, Sly 2, and Sly 3. He to consoles such as like the PlayStation 3. But then also worked on Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, aka Sly 4. So, oh yeah, a bit of history there, but it's been dormant ever since the release from there, and it's interesting because the last Sly Cooper game, Sly 4, Thieves in Time, actually ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, with Sly A. Cooper being stranded in ancient Egypt. But yeah, so nothing really new in terms of like games or anything, or even some announcements from there, or sort of. And the reason for that is apparently there was supposed to be a Sly Cooper movie planned. Sly Cooper and Thievius Raccoonus was supposed to get a movie adaptation, and however, that seems to, at least for now, have been put on hold. Well, partially because of the lack of success of the Ratchet and Clank movie, which the Ratchet and Clank movie, unfortunately, I do want to review that movie at some point, and I thought about doing it for Awful Month here on the channel, which of course we are still doing and everything, and the stuff that's coming throughout this week is definitely going to be that, but unfortunately it didn't quite make the cut this year, but perhaps next year, of course, but yeah, so well, people theorize that the lack of success that the Ratchet and Clank movie got was kind of the reason why they pulled the plug on Sly Cooper, on the Sly Cooper movie, which is unfortunate because seeing some of the stuff we did see of the movie, like some like the teasers and everything, it actually didn't look too bad. It actually looked kind of cool. Like the animation style and everything actually looked pretty decent. And so the fact that we're possibly not getting this movie, for now, it's still being treated as if it's still in development, but I imagine it's entering like what's called development hell, which I think I've mentioned before here on the channel. But development hell is pretty much something that is categorized, is classified as still in development, meaning it could still come out, and in some cases, some stuff that's stuck in like development hell for years does end up being released. Although sometimes it's usually not in the state of where it was in the beginning. It's either come a long way, a lot of stuff is added, a lot of stuff gets cut, and for a lot of projects, development hell could last as for years. I forgot which movie it was, which was like stuck in pretty much development hell for like 20, 30 years, or to the point where a few of its actors even passed away. I forget the name of the movie. If you guys know what movie I am referring to, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, so that's seemingly where this movie is for right now, which is unfortunate because as the Sly Cooper or video game franchise does have its fans and a lot of people, anxiously awaiting the return of our favorite sneaking raccoon. And not the only franchise, not even for the PlayStation, that's been pretty dormant. We also There's also franchises I should say, excuse me, such as like Jack and Daxter, which if you guys want me to do a discussion video on that, let me know in the comments. But so I say all this to say, hey, that's kind of where the franchise is now, and I guess I'm gonna put my 2 cents in when it comes to the Sly Cooper franchise because it is pretty fun. Now, the only game I haven't played in the series is Sly 3. Sly 2 was actually the first game I played in the series, and that's because my dad bought it for me way back in the day. And I played it, and a lot of fun, really, really fun game. For the second game, and it's not like I missed out on too much story. Just a little bit, but not a whole lot, especially because a bit of it was restated in this game. But yeah, so pretty fun game. Definitely shaped a lot of my childhood, and thankfully I do have the Sly Cooper collection over on my PS3, and thankfully I was able to get it and download it and everything before they shut down the servers. So I have it. So I beat Sly 1. I'll be going back to do Sly 3. Not sure if I should do a review of Sly 1 off the rip because I have played it before, or if I should replay it for the sake of review. Let me know in the comments below what you guys want me to do with that. But yeah, so the Sly Cooper franchise, a franchise I do really like, and I did play, of course, Sly 4 Thieves in Time. I got it for my PS3, and Sly 4, which it had been a while since the last Sly Cooper game, about 8 years, if I'm not mistaken, between Sly 3 and Sly 4. But after a while, seeing Sanzaru's take on the game, it wasn't great, but it was like okay, not quite as like you can tell they tried with this one, but kind of fell flat, unfortunately. At least compared to its predecessors in the Sly Cooper franchise. But you can tell Sanzaru definitely did try at least. And I would love to see a return someday, or even if it's just like a remaster for the PS4 or the PS5, seeing the Sly Cooper games remastered. But other than the stuff like, and I'm not counting stuff like PlayStation Move Heroes or PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale because that's more of like a PlayStation thing. I'm talking about like Sly Cooper as a franchise because in that case, there's a lot of franchises in the PlayStation series. Some still active, some still dormant. Right? But I want to see Sly Cooper return because it's a lot of fun, and I would love to see a new entry. A lot of people have theorized what Sly 5 would look like, and it almost seems like they're at a bit of a crossroads. Do they continue in the lineage? Do they reboot the series? It seems we're at a bit of a crossroads. So what could a Sly 5 potentially look at? Considering how Sly 4 ended off with Sly being transported, which I should probably introduce the characters. We have Sly Cooper, the raccoon, who's the main character, comes from a long line of raccoon thieves. Then we have Bentley the Turtle, who's the brains of the Sly Cooper gang, and then Murray, who's the muscle and the brawn, a bit dim-witted, but good-hearted in the Sly Cooper gang. But with Sly being transported to Egypt, I guess the implication is that Sly is going to team up with his ancestor. I already know I'm gonna mispronounce the name. It's pretty much like King Tut, but Sly form, of course, and which makes sense because I'm just gonna call him Sly's ancestor because this particular ancestor that's in ancient Egypt was actually the originator of the Thievius Raccoonus, which is the book with all the master thief techniques written down over the years that Sly, of course, studies from. So having Sly go on an adventure with his ancestor in ancient Egypt, kind of seeing how the book is developed and everything, perhaps Sly trying to inspire him to create the book, look, I think might be what they were going for there, which would make sense and actually would be pretty cool. Well, and that's something that a lot of people kind of complained about when it came to Sly 4, is that we didn't get a team up between Sly and this particular ancestor, or even his father, Connor Cooper, who was murdered by the Fiendish Five in the first Sly Cooper gang. And so having a team up like that would be pretty cool and make for an interesting story. A Sly potentially being a part of the lineage of the Thievius Raccoonus by going back in time, which would be almost like, which could fall potentially into like paradox territory, similar to something in like Futurama, where Fry essentially becomes his own grandfather. But I think that'd be pretty cool, and a lot of people would like it. A lot of people would enjoy that story. But for now, we may or may not get that. Now, the reason I say may or may not, and the reason that I'm more so speculating, is because, like I said, some stuff in development hell, sadly, some stuff in development hell either stays there to this very day or ends up getting scrapped. But some stuff does emerge, and there is a possibility that this could emerge. But with the movie and everything, I imagine either that meant that we're gonna reboot the franchise, attempt to reboot the franchise, or perhaps just do like a one-time tie-in with the movie, and then that's it, and try to set up separate lineages, similar to what they did with like the Street Fighter movie, or like the Mortal Kombat movie, in that regard, or more so the Street Fighter movie, but yeah, so that's kind of where we are for that for right now. I would love to see the franchise return someday. Hey, I think it would be really cool, and a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people holding out for returns to the franchise. But that's kind of where it is for now. And for right now, if I'm not mistaken, Sanzaru does still will have the IP, the license to Sly Cooper, so we'll see what they do with it. Whether they continue the franchise from there, whether they pass it off to someone else. We will see. But that is going to do it for this discussion video regarding it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the discussion, your thoughts on Sly Cooper as a franchise. Do you want to see it return? Do you not want to see it return? And what's some other video game franchises that you want to see return? I mentioned things like Jack and Daxter. Some people have mentioned game franchises like Earthworm Jim. So let me know what video game franchise you want to see return. And we've seen both like good and bad when it comes to video game franchise returns. When a video game franchise returns, it's brought back from the dead. We've seen success with things like Crash Bandicoot, but then we've also seen things like Bubsy returning, which nobody wanted Bubsy to return, but he did. He sure did. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.